Hey, what's going on everyone? So I purpled Sazh. If you're interested in what his kit provides and what he can offer to a team, stick around and find out. Sazh is a ranged support unit who focuses on offense. He provides max brave, attack, and crit rate buffs, as well as providing crit damage and overflow auras with a small bit of debuffing and party battery. His skill 1 is Aim, a simple 4-hit attack with an HP dump with decent 150% overflow and high turn rate. If you're targeting a debuffed enemy, this becomes Aim Plus, which has higher overflow, higher potency, will battery Sazh a bit before the brave hits, and buff Sazh with a generic attack and defense buff which will activate his buff extension crystal passive. His skill 2 is Attack Boost, which applies to the whole party a hefty 70% attack buff, 60% max brave, and 100% critical rate. It'll also grant Sazh a 60% speed buff, battery the party by the value of Sazh's attack, and still have a 3-hit attack with an HP dump at the end of it. This move does not add to turn count and also activates Sazh's buff extension crystal passive. It also activates his enhanced basic attacks for 10 turns, which are solid moves and will debuff the target's attack and defense. His EX is Cold Blood, which is up there in terms of EX animation length, but is also really how his full ATB gauge move works in the source game. While the footage you're seeing is the purple version, the base EX cast is 12 group hits before an HP dump, followed by 4 more group hits and a second HP dump. It deals split damage to the enemies and grants Sazh the unique effect of Choco Chick Fever for 6 turns. This increases his granted buff duration, raises his own max brave and attack, and raises party critical damage and overflow, which are definitely more unique buffs to provide. His EX plus limit breaks improve the strength of the EX cast and can immediately get the party going in terms of buffs. Realization strengthens the EX cast and increases the overflow, which is mostly only relevant to the first HP dump since that's, 12 hits. It also has the EX cast debuff speed, which is not a common one to find. 1 ingot is 40% attack and max bravery for Sazh, which is decent and appreciated considering how much damage this man actually contributes. 2 ingots grant starting buffs to the whole party, saving you 1 cast of attack boost as well as starting off with Choco Chick Fever. 3 ingots turns the EX cast from 16 hits with 2 HP dumps into 20 hits with 3 HP dumps, split as 7, 7, and 6 hits in between, which as you'd imagine makes it far more bravery efficient. With how often the EX will be up, it's a surprisingly strong limit break for a support unit. In terms of what Sazh lacks, it's rather obvious. He has no healing in his kit at all. That being said though, as an offensive support who can put out a respectable amount of damage, this means he actually pairs well with any other support that can provide healing, be they more offensively or defensively oriented. He has a lot of skill usages, coming in at 12 uses of aim and 9 uses of attack boost, and his EX will come up just about every 2 turns if you're using only skills. It may not be quite as smooth because Sazh's skills have high turn rate. Sazh has definitely seen use in Lufenia and in fact was very recently on a banner, so as is, he's still got great longevity and usability into the new difficulty. If I had to predict anything for an LD, I think a few things are possible. He already has a unique effect with Choco Chick, so that's out, and I also don't think LDs have ever added anything to unique effects. What I think they could do is have his LD act like Pinello's, where it reapplies buffs but makes them framed. This would allow Sazh to be a better pseudo party dispeller and ensure that his strong buffs stay on. Alternatively, it could be another means of him turning on Choco Chick and possibly giving him access to Brave and HP 2+ moves, giving him more longevity. They could also give him a party buff that applies a few more auras to the party, but at that point, Sazh has, 5 buffs on him, which is certainly a thought. Maybe he could apply a unique debuff like Hope? Who knows? As a support focused solely on offensive buffing, Sazh's role is actually a bit rare recently, as recent supports have been more focused on auras with means of HP recovery. With that being said, there is one unit who can kind of compare to Sazh, Ramza. Ramza is more focused on longevity and recovery, exemplified by his low skill counts, stacking buffs, and focus on regen and battery. Ramza provides a bit more attack for a bit less max bravery compared to Sazh, and has brave regen instead. Sazh has solid attack and max brave buffs, and his auras boost crit damage and party overflow. Of course, the main thing to keep in mind there is that Sazh needs buff slots to give half of his benefits, whereas Ramza has higher auras, so Sazh will struggle with damage units who heavily buff themselves but will be an asset to anyone that has high hit counts, multiple HP dumps, and would appreciate more overflow. Once the new set of high armors is released that let units break the current brave and HP damage limits, the benefits will be more noticeable as units will be able to hit higher. Overall, Sazh EX Plus turns him into a very active offensive support. His two downsides are that he doesn't provide healing, and that he is very reliant on actually using buff slots versus other supports who have strong auras along with buffs, but those two negatives are easily dealt with thanks to intelligent team building. The banner he's on is overall pretty good, as Raijin serves as a supportive thunder-based enabler, similar to Garnet but a bit more offensive. Thankfully, Sazh's longevity has already been well tested and has seen use in the upcoming Lufenia difficulty, so if you choose to build him now, he will serve you as a viable choice for the months to come. If you enjoyed this overview of Sazh and his EX Plus, let me know, and if you're interested in any other Opera Omni content, be sure to stick around and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.